Hello, this is Cool History 76. Today we're going to talk about the two major political parties in the United States and how they're not that much different from each other. On the big issues they almost always agree. Oh yeah, they've got their pet issues to rally the base, but when it comes to the big issues, they're always in agreement, such as trade. They believe in free trade. That's usually unfair. And so our factories are leaving the country. When your factories leave the country, wealth leaves your country. Immigration. They both believe in wide open borders and who cares who comes. It's not always a good plan. You've got to control those borders. And they both believe in ever-expanding national debt. And we know that that can't go on forever. And yet they pretend as if it can. And both parties keep spending and spending and spending. And then there's welfare. The Republicans believe in this much welfare. The Democrats believe in this much welfare. So they really don't disagree on the concepts. So today I'm going to show an example of how the parties aren't always that much different. Now look, we're always told by the mass media that the Democrats are the party of peace and the Republicans are the party of war. But is that true? We listen to the mass media and they tell us something and we say, I didn't see that, but they tell me that, so I guess it must be true. Look, folks, you got to think for yourself. The mass media is out there telling you stuff, and it isn't always true. Okay, let's look at some examples. Okay, let's look to the board here. Let's go to the 20th century and war. Okay, World War I. Okay, let's zoom in on this. Okay, World War I. Which party was in charge of this war? Well, that of course was Woodrow Wilson, a Democrat. The peace-loving Democrats? Interesting. How about World War II? We all know it was Franklin Roosevelt. And again, he's one of our lovable, peaceful Democrats. Moving on. What about the Korean War? Korea. Oh yeah, that's right. That was Truman. And again, a Democrat. Alright, what about Vietnam? What about Vietnam? Well, that was Kennedy and Johnson, Lyndon Johnson. And they were, of course, both Democrats. Now the reason why I put Kennedy in with Johnson for being involved in starting the Vietnam War is because Kennedy started the McNamara plan to build up the army. See, Eisenhower had really let the army decline in size because he didn't want to fight wars. Kennedy changed that with the McNamara plan by building up the army and getting ready for Vietnam. Do you see a pattern here? The major wars of the 20th century are Democrat wars. Fascinating. So let's ask ourselves a few more questions. Who got us out of the Korean War? Eisenhower. Eisenhower is a Republican. Interesting, isn't that? In fact, while Eisenhower was president, not one American serviceman was killed in 7.5 years. In battle, of course. Now, Vietnam. Who got us out of Vietnam? Okay, take a look. Nixon. And who's Richard Nixon? He's a Republican. Are you starting to see a pattern here? Now look, there's always the exception to the rule, but these are some of the major American wars of the 20th century, and you see the Democrats got us in, Republicans got us out. Now look, I'm not saying the Republicans are perfect or the Democrats are all bad. What I am saying is that we're often taught by the media that one party is simply peace and one party is war. But that's not always the case. So you've got to pay attention and look at these things for yourself. And let's remember that it was Eisenhower who said that we need to be cautious that the military-industrial complex doesn't get us into more war. Eisenhower was a man of peace. Well, thank you for watching this edition of Cool History 76. Please subscribe, and I'll see you next time.